Hey friend, thanks for coming back. Before we dive into what we're going to talk about in today's video, I just want to talk about one message that I received the other day about my workspace and why I don't just clean it up sometimes and make it look pretty. Those were the exact words. Why don't you make it look pretty? Because this is like my reality is reality. I am not here to curate the perfect desk space. I'm just creating, and I'm just creating things on the fly lots of times because I just have an idea and I want to get it out, such as today's video. And it's like, so not to deep dive, I was actually in a relationship with somebody for a while. It was toxic as all get out. It was not healthy. It was not good. And it was a circle, right? Anyways, one of the things she always did was like everything on social media looked so curated and it was fake. Like it wasn't the life she was living, but people, she made it look a certain way, which is great. That is what people do. But like, why? Why not real life? Why, like, that's my desk. I have stuff piled. This is my wall. I like all that stuff that's up there. I put it up there for a reason. I have a lot of plants right here. Is this the best setup? No, but like, this is my real life. This is my space, and this is what it is. Anyways, enough of that. My workspace is what it is. If it's really clean sometimes, maybe it's because I just cleaned it, or I'm trying something new. Like I have an idea for my desktop that I'm going to try. It's still going to end up getting messy though, because that's just what it is. This is my life, my way, not my way. Like that sounds bossy. It's just how I'm going to do it because I'm not going to curate things to make it look pretty. Outside of art, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, today's video, we're going to go over a few quick Valentine's ideas. I'm not giving you a whole card. I'm giving you ideas. This morning I sat down because I was like, what can I make for my mom and stuff? And I'm going through a whole bunch of processes in my head on ways I can do it or do this or do that. So it's different, right? So my daughter gets one thing, my mom gets another, whatever. Anyways, I'm going to dive into probably 3 or 4 ideas, 5 ideas, maybe, that are in my head, and how each idea can also be spun off into its own idea. And that's the beauty of like what I'm going to show you is I don't want to tell you like, do this, do this, do this. I'm going to be like, hey, here's some thoughts. Here's a process. Now, what can you do to make it yours? So anyways, this is getting too long. Let's just dive in and let's go. So as I mentioned, I'm going to go over just random ideas. I taped out some paper and I just started going with some ideas. The first one I didn't love. I'll probably show you that later. This one though, I'm thinking high contrast, right? A solid dark background. I know right now it doesn't look like it. You'll see in a second. We'll go a solid dark background and contrast in hearts. It's Valentine's Day, right? So we're gonna base everything off hearts right now. So that's what we're doing here. So we're gonna go with a heavy dark background. Choose whatever you want, right? Again, this is your idea. You can do these hearts floated across a page. You could do one large one right in the center. You could line them up perfectly across and then tape off an area down low where you could write a little something something to your loved one. But what we're going to do here is start the hearts. Go in 2 different directions here just to show you. You can come in and just color them solid. Come in a little bit of water, more or less fill the whole thing with one solid color. The other option, which I like a little more, instead of so much blending, is to come in, do an outline, and then bring in some water, but just drag a little bit of the color into the heart. I just like the depth that it gives it. And, again, these are just ideas. I'm brainstorming here in real life on a large piece of scrap paper. That's all that I'm doing right here. From here, again, you could throw a bunch of these on a page. It would look really pretty. You could line them up perfectly. And then up above, we're going to jump ahead. And you're going to see that, do your hearts your way. Do them your colors. You could do the rainbow of hearts straight across a page. You could do a rainbow of hearts all over the page. No matter what you choose, it's going to look cool because of the high contrast of dark, light on dark, and stuff like that. And then last but not least, once you have this done and everything is bone dry, come in with a pen if you want and just give them quick outlines. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? Make it a little loosey-goosey, and it just adds, again, another layer of depth to it, another element, which makes it really cool. Now, that's that one. let's jump in and let's get to a little something that's more fun, more exciting. So, one, I started out with a quick, simple wash. This is one of my favorite ones, I think. It's fun. It uses some skills, but nothing that is out of reach for anybody here. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to come in and get a whole lot of paint, a whole lot of pigment in there, and then we're going to lift it all out. But there's one other step here, right? If you lift it all out, yeah, it's going to look okay. But what we're actually going to do is continue to add more water to it and then lift it out again and again and again. What we're looking for here is a fairly translucent heart, but we want a dark edge, right? So you'll see as this progresses where we're going with it and what we're doing, but dark edge, lifting all the pigment out, but also keeping some highlight on one side and not the other. And then we're going to do this again. You can use the same color. What you're going to see in a second is that we're actually going to use purple too. So sorry about the bounciness there. I'll make sure I don't do that anymore. We're going to come in with another color and we're going to layer them. Now, at the end of this video, I have a whole lot of ideas on directions this can go, but first let's get this heart filled with pigment and then let's lift it out, but let's throw a little more water in there right here. You'll see that that water pushes that pigment out to the edges again, keeping a dark edge. Now we see some of those other hearts starting to just come through a little, which is what we want because we want a slightly translucent color, right? So you can see it. And then we're going to come in, we're going to throw one more color down in here, just to show the variations of what's possible, because that's where I think this one should go or could really go, is multiple colors or just lots of reds and pinks. Would probably look really pretty as well. But again, we're going to lift that color up. We're going to throw some water down. We're going to create some highlights. We want the light from each heart coming from the same direction. Once that's done, come in and throw some actual highlights in with either white gouache or in this case, a white acrylic pen. Anything that you have that you can use over top of your watercolor paints once they're 100% dry. And then last but not least, we're going to grab our black fine liner. Again, sorry for the shaky. And we're going to throw some strings. So if you hadn't already figured it out, we just made some heart balloons. Really super simple, really super cute, and so many ideas you could do. From lining them all up perfectly, right, to variation hearts everywhere, different colors, overlapping, strings coming down, but blocking out an area to write something to your loved one. Or you could also just do one big balloon, which would look cute. Now, this next one isn't so much of a brainstorm. These are hearts that I've been doing since probably, I don't even know, 2005 or so. But they're really cute. And to fill a page with these at different sizes, different layers, so you could overlap some, they look really, really cute. So the first thing you can do is you can lift some of this paint out. You don't have to. And you can make your hearts any color. For this one, I do tend to go red. I do tend to still lift a lot of the color out to create that hard edge. It's just what I like to do. Use your own preference. Once it's dry, add a couple more in there, right? Again, I'm just doing this so you can see what my favorite hearts are that I've been doing forever, but they're super cute and everybody loves them. Try it out yourself. And your heart shouldn't be perfect on this one. Make some that are skinny, make some that are a little chubby, because it's okay if we're chubby. I'm a little chubby. I'm not that tall, but some hearts are tall. So anyways, you know what I'm saying. Mix them up. Have some fun with this one. Once your hearts are done, grab a really light blue. I mixed blue with a little bit of Payne's Gray here. I went with really light blue, really light Payne's Gray. Again, mostly translucent here. It would look cute if I actually did a background first, but I didn't. These are going to be little wings. So we want to just throw little dashes in there to create some movement. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, and you'll see why, because we're going to come in and we're going to fine tune all of this stuff. So go ahead, give all your hearts some cute little wings, and then we're going to really add the magic. So you have your wings, grab your fine liner again. Make sure everything is bone dry. And then come in and outline your hearts and give them some little squigglies. And give your wings some outlines and maybe a little more detail inside. They're a little cartoonish looking, but they're super cute. And if you take your time with them, they're adorable. This big one is actually a great way so you can see exactly what's going on and how it does sort of levels them up. And they're cute hearts, especially when you throw them on the front of a card or a gift or whatever. You could even honestly make these and then cut them out and leave them all over the place, or make like a heart pinwheel. This would look really cute, right? If you were to cut those out and make little hearts hanging all over the place with wings. I actually might do that, because who doesn't love some hearts around Valentine's Day hanging all over the place? So now let's jump into the final two thoughts and designs. The first is really pretty simple here, because I was just thinking, like, what if there was a sign that was a heart, right? That would look really cute. So if we just make ourselves a heart and then we hang it in a way, right? Like couple strings. We could even tape out like a strip over the heart, like do this pretty big, and throw a piece of tape parallel with the bottom of your piece, directly over like a third of the way up the heart, where you paint over it, pull the tape off, and then you can write something cute to your little lovey-dovey in there too. That's just sort of my process and where I'm thinking right now. So anyways, you could fill in the heart, throw a piece of wood across the top. And again, I'm doing this really quick just to demonstrate like some ideas. This is a brainstorming session for me of what I'm going to do. So you could throw some wood across the top, and that's going to be what the heart is hanging from. So you'd probably want to put the wood all the way across so it doesn't look like it's just floating in space like mine. Because right now it sort of looks like a cigar just chilling there. But it's not. So anyways, you're going to create some little hook and eyes and throw some strings down to them, right? Just another cute, simple idea. Now, what you could also do, outline the heart. I'm just a sucker for that right now. Now I'm just going to outline everything because, again, brainstorming. Now, then I'm thinking, like, what else could you do here if you didn't want to run it all the way across the wood? You can make like a little stand that it's hanging on. Again, with wood. Now, the big thing here is once you do this, your stand needs to have some screws or something in it so it doesn't look like it's just a weird piece of wood. So make sure you throw some screws in there and then you hang the heart in, right? So it's pretty cool. Now, last but not least is probably the one that takes a little more work, but is also really cool. And that happens to be, again, another heart. Go figure. But this one, we're going to get a little more detailed, a little more realistic, and we're gonna make a heart lollipop. Now, the first thing I'm gonna do is sketch the stick, because you need that outline in there before you start making your heart at all. You definitely need to have the sketch of the stick, and then outline your heart. This one, you want the heart to be pretty symmetrical on both sides. As you can see there, I missed the symmetricaliness. So once you have the symmetricaliness down, do a quick light wash over your heart, not over the lollipop stick yet, though. We want to keep that pretty white and pretty light for almost the entire thing. But you do want to make sure you get this little thing off your heart, and also leave some open paper, which is going to be where the highlights are on the lollipop. And then you're going to come in and add some more washes. I did do one light layer over the stick. But generally on candy lollipops, the hearts, like, they're just sugar and you can still see the stick through it. So we don't really want to go too dark on that. But I am going to come in and do another wash. And then what I'm also going to do on the third wash, I'm going to keep going, is like certain areas of the heart are going to be a little darker just because it's a little more concentrated, like where the heart comes together. And not to mention we have a highlighted side, so there's got to be a shadowy side, which again is going to have a little more depth and a little more darkness and color to it. And then I am going to come in with Payne's Gray, and I am going to just highlight the stick a little. Don't do what I did. I overdid it here. Again, sketches, just trying to think about what I'm going to do. I'm going to lift some of that paint out now, but you want to keep that lollipop stick lighter than what I did, and maybe just a very, very faint line on the shadowed side. Because we are going to come in and add a background on this as well. So I sort of fumbled that one, but that's okay, because it's still going to look fine. It's still okay. And then we're going to come in and we're going to throw a background around the whole thing. And then throw some shading on the side of your heart that is darker where the shadow's going. Just again, to give it a little depth. It's the biggest thing with art and watercolor is layers and depth and creating the fun. So that's all I got for today. That was my morning brainstorm. And as you can see, there's a couple extras on there, which I didn't go over. I'll probably do one of those. It's just layers, right? It's just a lot of layers. So anyways, this was, it was a fun brainstorm for the morning. I got some ideas for some Valentine's hearts. Let me know what you're going to do, if you're going to do any of them, or if this was a complete waste of your time. Either way, that's what I got. So I hope you guys all have a great Valentine's Day. And hey, I gotta be honest, I'm probably gonna create a card or two that's boycott Valentine's Day because I don't really love it. But we have the people in our lives we love. We're gonna make them something, whether it's a boycott or a real one. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing okay. Take it easy and hang in there. It's a scary world right now, but we got this together.